Stop saying this word if you ever want to be rich, because every time you speak it, you reject the very abundance you've been praying for. You think your financial struggles are about money. They're not. They're about the language you've been using. And one single word could be the reason your blessings are delayed. Every morning we speak words that either plant wealth or poverty in our lives. We say things like, I can't, I'm broke, I'll never afford that. But what if the universe isn't withholding from you? What if it's simply obeying you? Because when you declare lack, you invite lack. When you declare abundance, you attract abundance. If you've ever caught yourself speaking words that limit your growth, stop right now and declare, from this moment, my mouth agrees with my miracle. The rich don't just think differently. They speak differently. They understand that every word builds or breaks. So if you truly want to get rich spiritually, mentally, and financially, never again say the word can. Because wealth doesn't start in your wallet. Words shape wealth, because language is not just a communication tool. It's an act of creation. Every word you speak carries vibration, energy, and intention. The way you talk about money, success, and opportunity becomes a mirror of how you truly see yourself. If you speak from limitation, you create limitation. If you speak from possibility, you create momentum. The universe in its vast intelligence doesn't respond to your wishes. It responds to your words. Your speech is the signal you broadcast, and life echoes it back to you in the form of experiences, relationships, and results. From the moment you wake up, you begin programming your financial destiny with the words that leave your mouth. Think of how easily people say, recap your creative daily YouTube recaps. In your inbox, stop listening for hours, start reading in minutes. Every morning at 8:00 a.m., our AI-powered digest lands in your inbox with all key insights from your favorite YouTube channels. Start your daily recap sponsored, I'm broke. I can't afford that. Money doesn't come easily to me. Those phrases seem harmless, but they are declarations of lack. You may not realize it, but your subconscious mind treats your words as truth. It begins to seek evidence to make your statements real. You speak poverty and your life rearranges itself to confirm it. This is not superstition. It's psychology. Your mind, once it hears repetition, starts believing it. Once it believes, it directs your extra emotions and opportunities to align with that belief. On the other hand, people who attract abundance often have a different vocabulary. They speak as if increase is natural, as if opportunity is always present. They might not have millions yet, but their words sound like they already do. They say things like, money is coming to me. I'm always in the right place at the right time. I attract wealth effortlessly. Their language creates expectation, and expectation opens doors. When you expect abundance, your brain begins filtering the world differently. You start noticing chances to earn, invest, connect, or create that were invisible before. Words are like keys. They unlock levels of awareness you couldn't access. What most people miss is that wealth begins as a linguistic habit. You can't speak failure all day and expect success to show up. You can't keep rehearsing your limitations and still live a life of expansion. The words you speak daily are tiny seeds. Some grow into blessings, others grow into barriers. If you constantly talk about not having enough, your focus sharpens and scarcity expands. But if you speak abundance, even when you can't see it, you train your energy to match it. You become magnetic to the very thing you affirm. Every culture and spiritual teaching emphasizes this principle differently. But the core truth remains: your words are prophetic. They are not empty sound. They are spiritual instruments. When you say something, you are declaring a reality into form. The vibration of speech moves through you and into the environment, influencing both your mind and the energetic field around you. That's why gratitude, affirmation, and faith-filled speech have transformative power. When your language honors growth, your circumstances evolve to reflect it. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about refusing to give your voice to defeat. Every time you describe your life as hard, you reinforce struggle. Every time you describe your future as uncertain, you delay clarity. But when you start saying things are improving, I'm becoming more capable, my finances are expanding, you activate progress. You begin attracting people, ideas, and chances that align with that declaration. Wealth doesn't begin with a paycheck. It begins with a pattern of speech that honors abundance. When your words shift, your perception shifts. When your perception shifts, your behavior follows. Eventually, reality bends to match the language you've been speaking all along. The secret isn't working harder at first, it's speaking better. The wealth you're meant to receive is already waiting for a voice of agreement. Your words are that voice. The universe responds to vibration because everything that exists from your thoughts to your voice is made of energy. Every sound you release carries a frequency, and that frequency interacts with the world around you. Words are not random noise. They are vibrational commands. When you speak, you are sending out waves that attract matching energy back into your experience. This is why two people can live in the same circumstances but get completely different results. One speaks life, the other speaks limitation. The universe doesn't interpret language the way humans do. It feels vibration. It doesn't hear, "I don't want to be broke." It only feels the vibration of broke. It mirrors what you focus on and magnifies it. When you say something with emotion, your vibration becomes stronger. Words mixed with emotion are amplified signals that echo through the spiritual and energetic dimensions. If you speak in fear or worry, your energy becomes heavy, resistant, and closed. If you speak in faith and gratitude, your energy becomes open, elevated, and magnetic. The universe aligns itself with whichever vibration you sustain the longest. This is why people who constantly complain about what's missing seem to attract more lack. They are broadcasting scarcity. Meanwhile, those who speak positively, even in hard times, are tuning themselves to abundance, and abundance finds them naturally. Everything in creation responds to vibration, is the language of life. A single spoken word ripples outward like a stone dropped into water, touching everything in its path. Your words create patterns, and those patterns shape your experience. When you repeat negative speech, you are imprinting that vibration into your environment. It influences your thoughts, your decisions, your relationships, and eventually your outcomes. That is why success begins with awareness, being conscious of what kind of frequency your words carry. Science supports this in subtle ways. Studies on sound frequency show that vibrations can alter the structure of matter. Sound waves can rearrange particles, form geometric shapes, or even change water molecules. Since the human body is largely made of water, every word you speak literally influences your internal chemistry. When you speak love, peace, and confidence, you strengthen your body's harmony. When you speak anger, doubt, and defeat, you create chaos inside your cells. Your biology, your emotions, and your environment are all listening to your vibration. You are a transmitter constantly sending out messages that life interprets and returns to you. This principle means you cannot hide your inner state from the universe. You might say positive words, but if the emotion behind them is disbelief or fear, the vibration remains negative. The energy beneath your words matters more than the words themselves. You must learn to speak from conviction, not from habit. When your voice carries belief, it becomes creative power. When it carries doubt, it becomes a block. This is why spiritual masters have always emphasized the alignment of heart, mind, and tongue. Because that alignment produces clear vibration, and clear vibration produces results. The universe doesn't pick favorites, it mirrors energy. If your dominant vibration is gratitude, you will receive more things to be grateful for. If it is worry, you will receive more things to worry about. Your words are the tools that set that vibration in motion. Every sentence is like striking a tuning fork that calls forth matching frequencies. So if you want wealth, peace, or joy, your speech must carry the tone of those things. You cannot vibrate fear and expect abundance to answer. You must become fluent in the vibration of faith. Learning to master vibration begins with awareness of how you feel. Notice the energy behind your words. Do they feel light or heavy? Expansive or tight? When your words carry lightness, they travel far. When they carry heaviness, they fall flat. To change your vibration, change your speech. Speak slowly, intentionally with belief. Choose words that elevate rather than diminish. Over time, your energy begins to rise. And when it rises, so does everything connected to it. Your health, your finances, your relationships. The secret of wealth, success, and peace lies in vibration. Your words are the first instrument of that vibration. The universe is always linked not to your vocabulary, but to the music behind it. Speak wealth and you vibrate wealth. Speak lack and you vibrate lack. The echo you hear in your life is simply the reflection of the vibration you've been sending out all along. The forbidden word is one that unconsciously shuts the door to abundance. It is not always shouted but whispered in the quiet moments when fear speaks louder than. It is the word that ends possibility before it even begins. Can't. This small, harmless-sounding word has stopped more dreams, delayed more breakthroughs, and destroyed more confidence than any external obstacle ever. People often underestimate its power because it feels casual, something they say without thought. Yet every time it is spoken, it programs the mind to accept limitation as truth. It shuts down creativity, silences intuition, and blocks divine flow. The word can't isn't just a word. It's a command that tells the universe to stop working on your behalf. When you say, I can't, you close your imagination. The human mind is a tool for creation, but it only builds what it believes is possible. The moment you declare you can't, you strip that mind of its creative authority. It stops looking for solutions, stops seeking opportunities, and stops believing there is a way forward. You begin to see only walls instead of doors, problems instead of possibilities. The word becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You say you can't, so you don't. You convince yourself you're trapped, and your life begins to reflect that belief. Every choice becomes smaller, every dream further away, and eventually the life that was meant to be expansive becomes confined by invisible boundaries created by your own spirit. The tragedy of can't is that it sounds responsible. People often use it as an excuse to avoid risk or discomfort. They say, I can't afford it. I can't find time. I can't do this. As if admitting defeat is a sign of wisdom. But it's not wisdom. It's resignation disguised as logic. The moment you justify can't, you surrender your power to change. You begin to live reactively, letting circumstances dictate your potential. True wisdom doesn't deny reality, it redefines it. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, say I'm learning how to create the means. Instead of I can't do this, say I'm discovering how. That shift opens the door again. It tells your mind and the universe that you are still willing, still receptive, still in motion. The power of the forbidden word lies in its subtlety. It doesn't announce destruction, it whispers it. It hides behind frustration, fatigue, or doubt. You might say it in a moment of stress, but the single moment becomes the foundation of your mindset. A repetition gives it roots. Soon can't becomes your default setting. You begin expecting failure, and even when opportunity appears, you push it away with disbelief. You think it's humility, but it's actually fear in disguise. Every K you speak plants a seed of impossibility, and those seeds grow into patterns of hesitation, insecurity, and procrastination. Spiritually, can't is the language of separation. It disconnects you from your divine nature, the part of you that knows all things are possible. The universe operates on belief and energy. When you declare, I can, you align with creative force. When you say, I can't, you align with resistance. You are either cooperating with abundance or arguing against it. The word you choose determines the frequency you live on. The energy of can is open, vibrant, and expectant. The energy of can't is closed, dense, and doubtful. The universe mirrors whichever one you embody. Every person who has achieved greatness had reasons to say, I can. They faced fear, lack, criticism, and obstacles. But they chose not to speak that word. Instead, they said, I will find a way. That choice didn't just change their mindset. It changed their reality. Because when you refuse to give can't power, you awaken the creative genius within you. You stop waiting for life to be easy and start shaping it with intention. The forbidden words loses its grip, and suddenly what felt impossible becomes inevitable. The greatest transformation begins not with resources, talent, or luck, but with language. The word you refuse to speak determines the world you allow yourself to build. Can't is the lock and the door of abundance, and silence toward it is the key that sets you free. Most people curse their own blessing without realizing. They pray for increase, work hard towards success, and even visualize prosperity. Yet the words they speak undo everything they are trying to build. They complain about how hard life is, how things never go their way, or how they always end up disappointed. Every complaint becomes a curse disguised as conversation. What they don't understand is that the universe takes their words literally. When someone says, nothing ever works out for me, the energy behind that statement goes out and arranges circumstances to make it true. Words are not empty sounds. They are creative instructions that shape the invisible into the visible. The moment a person begins to speak against their own progress, they stop the flow of abundance that was already moving toward them. Cursing your blessings isn't always done with anger or intention. It often happens in moments of frustration or fear. When money comes in and someone says it'll be gone before I know it, they have just set that outcome in motion. When an opportunity appears and they say it's too good to be true, they have sent a signal to the universe that they don't believe they deserve it. When they talk about success as something that only happens for others, they build a wall that keeps success from approaching them. The universe is obedient. It mirrors the vibration of your conviction. If your conviction is disbelief, you will experience delay. If your conviction is gratitude, you will experience growth. Many people don't realize that complaining, doubting, and worrying are forms of negative prayer. Every time you declare something with emotion, you are setting an intention. Most individuals pray for abundance, but then immediately cancel that prayer by speaking fear. They might ask for financial breakthrough in the morning, and then spend the rest of the day talking about how expensive everything is and how little they have. They are sending big signals to creation. The universe doesn't know which message to follow, so it returns confusion and stagnation. The blessing that was meant for them gets tangled in the vibration of their own contradiction. This is why gratitude and faith are such powerful characters. When you're grateful even for small things, you amplify the energy of receiving. You show the universe that you recognize and honor the flow of blessings. But when you focus on what's missing, you amplify the energy of lack, and lack expands. You may not call it cursing, but energetically it functions the same way. Your words become barriers instead of bridges. They turn your potential into delay and your opportunity into distance. The most dangerous thing about speaking against your blessings is that it becomes habitual. People repeat phrases like, nothing ever works out, I always have bad luck, or it's just not my time yet. So often that these ideas take root in their subconscious. Once they are rooted, the mind filters reality to them. Even when something good happens, the person finds a way to doubt it or sabotage it because their inner story says blessings don't last. They begin to live beneath their potential, not because the blessing wasn't real, but because they rejected it through their language. Spiritually, the act of cursing your blessings is an act of disagreement with divine order. The universe is constantly trying to deliver good things to you, but it also respects your free will. If your words contradict your desires, your words will. The creative power within you follows your speech's law. When you bless something, it multiplies. When you curse something, it withers. Even casual negativity carries authority. Saying this will never work is a declaration, not a joke. Life is listening, always ready to match the frequency of mechanism. To reverse this pattern, awareness is the first step. Notice how often you speak doubt over your own progress. Notice how many times a day you downplay your potential or reject good news out of habit. Replace every complaint with gratitude, every worry with faith, and every negative prediction with expectation. The more you bless what you have, the more what you have begins to bless you. The key to unlocking abundance is realizing that your words. If you keep planting curses, you cannot harvest blessings. Every word matters because every word creates. When you learn to speak only what uplifts, aligns, and affirms, you stop blocking the flow of good that was already heading. You stop cursing your blessings and start multiplying them with faith-filled silence. Is more powerful than fear-filled talk. Because silence holds creative energy, while fear-filled words. Every time you speak from fear, doubt, or frustration, you release energy that could have been used for manifestation. Words are extensions of belief. And when belief is rooted in fear, speech becomes destructive rather than productive. Silence, when rooted in faith, does not represent weakness. It represents mastery. It is the calm confidence that knows the answer is already forming, even if it cannot yet be seen. It is restraint that protects the energy of creation from being scattered by anxiety. The most powerful people are not those who talk the most about their dreams. They are those who protect their dreams through silence until manifestation makes the announcement for them. When you speak in fear, you invite uncertainty into your vibration. Saying things like, I don't know how this will work, what if I fail, or I hope something changes soon, may sound harmless, but they carry frequencies of doubt. The universe mirrors that vibration and produces circumstances that match it. Fear-filled speech weakens faith because it contradicts what faith is supposed to stand for. Trust. Every time you verbalize worry, you're telling the universe you don't trust the process and energy response to that. Faith, on the other hand, doesn't need constant reassurance. It is quiet confidence. It doesn't panic when results take time because it knows that delay doesn't mean denial. Faith feels space between desire and manifestation. It's the moment where words stop and trust begins. When you hold silence from a place of belief, you're declaring that you no longer need to convince the universe. You've already decided the outcome within yourself. This internal certainty is magnetic. It draws resources, people, and timing into alignment without the noise of desperation. Silence allows divine timing to work uninterrupted. When you speak too soon or too fearfully, you often interfere with that process, pulling energy toward confusion rather than completion. There is immense strength in choosing silence when everything around you tempts you to speak defeat. When life feels uncertain, people often vent, complain, or seek validation. But every fearful word becomes a seed of delay. It reinforces scarcity and trains your subconscious mind to expect disappointment. Faith-filled silence is different. It's a declaration of sovereignty. It says, I refuse to give my fear a voice. In that space, energy gathers, thoughts align, vision strengthens. You start hearing intuition more clearly because you're no longer drowning it with anxious speech. Silence becomes your amplifier for divine instruction. Even ancient wisdom emphasizes the power of silence. It has always been seen as the language of the spirit, the state where human limitation steps aside to let higher intelligence move. Faith-filled silence is not empty. It is full of intelligence. It carries a vibration so steady that it commands creation. It says, I already have what I asked for without needing to prove it through words. When you carry that stillness, your energy radiates assurance, and the universe reads it as readiness. Fearful talk, however, sends mixed messages. It says you want something while simultaneously confessing you doubt it can happen. Silence, when guided by faith, preserves the purity of your manifestation. It prevents the contamination of your dream through gossip, disbelief, or premature exposure. Sometimes sharing your plans too early exposes them to doubt your own or others. Every opinion, every skeptical comment becomes a vibration that interferes with your focus. Protecting your vision through faith, fearful silence keeps your frequency clear and your intention undiluted. You're not hiding your dream out of fear. You're incubating it in faith until it's strong enough to stand in the open. When your heart is anchored in trust, silence becomes a spiritual weapon. You don't need to prove, justify, or over-explain. You simply know that knowing radiates power far greater than words can express. Fear-filled talk seeks validation. Faith-filled silence already possesses it. One drains energy, the other multiplies it. When you stop speaking defeat, you stop feeding. When you hold silence with faith, you give your miracle room to breathe. That space between your last fearful word and your next faithful thought is where divine movement begins. The world might see stillness, but heaven sees power gather.